Welcome back to The Blunt Side, the podcast where we talk about anything and everything without a filter. I'm your host, Sydney, and today I feel like I'm just going to update you guys on my life because I think the last time I filmed for this podcast was like in February or something, and so many things have happened, so many things have changed, and there's just a lot going on. Before we get into that, I kind of want to do like a little get to know me because I feel like I haven't fully introduce myself on this channel even yet, and I have a bunch of new subscribers that I'm really excited about, and so I want to do a little get to know me. My name is Sydney. I'm 22 years old. I am very interested in spirituality. I love talking about like crazy spiritual topics. I pretty much believe in like everything. Like I believe in fairies and dragons and mermaids. I believe life after death. I believe in aliens. I love to talk about all of this stuff, and I could spend hours talking about it. I'm a tarot reader. I'm also learning how to channel. I usually channel with clairaudience. And yeah, spirituality is pretty much my whole life. It's what drives me to be a better person. It makes me want to keep going every day because I believe that we all have a spiritual purpose. I am a Libra sun, a Taurus moon, and a Scorpio rising. Let me know yours down below if you know them because love astrology. And I think that's like pretty much me. I mean, I could say a lot more, but that's like the basics. So yeah, let me know down below if you're new here. Let me know your name and your zodiac signs, and let's get into I have so many topics, okay? It's not just gonna be me talking about myself. Well, like it is, but I'm also going to go into like just things, okay? You'll see. Okay, so yeah, the last time I recorded was this episode about kind of feeling like lost in life, my phone addiction, my identity crisis I was having. Like, it was a very rambly episode, but you guys responded really well to it. I gained a lot of subscribers from that episode, and I think a lot of people really felt what I was talking about, which like it made me so happy. Because actually, was that the last one I recorded? I don't know if I recorded another episode after that, but regardless, you guys responded really well to it, and a lot of people understood what I was feeling, which made me feel so happy because I felt like I was losing my mind, but at the same time, I knew that somebody somewhere needed to hear what I was feeling. And so I'm really glad that you guys responded well to that. And I kind of want to update since that period of my life. So it was like the end of February, I think I recorded that. And yeah, like I was just feeling very lost. I didn't know who I was. I was cutting out so many things in my life to the point where I felt like, who am I without these things? And since then, a lot has changed. I definitely feel a lot more confident, and I feel like all of the self-work I've been doing, like the affirmations and listening to subliminals and just like positive self-talk and all the journaling I said I was doing, like it's actually starting to work. I genuinely feel like I know who I am now, which is like a complete 180 to how I was feeling in that video. I literally was feeling like I have no clue who I am. I'm having an identity crisis and I'm losing my mind. And so I've done like a huge jump, and I'm just really proud of myself. In that video, I also talked about how I was struggling with like my phone and how I feel like the world is way too dependent on our phones. And so it actually inspired me to do a phone fast. I actually did 2 fasts within the same week. So I did a 72-hour food fast because I've just been wanting to do one for a while. It was kind of like on my list of things I want to do this year. I have like a lot of health things on my vision board, and I was like, you know what, like I'm never gonna do it unless I just do it. Like I kept telling myself, oh, I need to do more research before I do a fast. Like what if I do it wrong? And then I woke up and I was like, you know what, I didn't eat last night till like 9 p.m. and now it's like 2. I might as well just keep going. Like it was one of those days where I just like woke up and didn't eat breakfast, which is like most days, and I was just like, you know what, why don't I just like start fasting? And so I did, and I made a commitment. Okay, I'm not going to eat for 72 hours. And I didn't really have like clear like guidelines on this. so like I did end up eating like melon because it's like high water content, and then I did drink some coffee with creamer, which I know is like against the rules, and then I drank like all water. So like technically I did the fast other than eating like some fruit and maybe some oranges. But on day 3 I didn't eat any food. Actually day 2 I didn't either. It was only day 1 that I actually ate the fruit. Anyways, regardless, I was like blown away at how much easier it was than I thought. The first day was definitely hard, and then the second day I more just like missed food, but you actually like realize how much you just eat out of boredom. And then the third day, guys, I was blown away. By the third day, I literally had more energy than I've ever had from like anything. There's no amount of food, coffee, pep talks that could give me the energy and confidence that I had on day 3 of this fast. I felt so confident. I like put on a cute outfit, I did my makeup, and I was literally just feeling like, wow, like I'm unstoppable. And I just felt like this surge of energy. And that's like one of the main reasons I wanted to do the fast, is because people talk about getting this boost of energy, and I thought that they were just like over exaggerating. No, I felt absolutely high on life. I was jumping around. I was dancing in my room. Like for like half an hour, I was just dancing. Like, and I don't really dance. Like, it was just like insane. And so after that, after I finished the fast, I felt so, first of all, like accomplished. Second of all, disciplined. I was like, oh my God, if I can do this, like what else can I do? You know what I mean? Like, and I struggle with discipline. I feel like a lot of us do in our like I feel like maybe just like everyone does, but like I don't know about you guys, but I grew up with parents that weren't really emotionally like there for me. They were always working, and like I don't know, like I didn't really have anybody like really teaching me like, oh, you have to like do this every night and every day to make your body feel good. And like they tried to tell me like, oh, go to bed at this time, but like when your parents are at work all the time, like you end up just kind of doing what you want, and like you kind of like raise yourself. And so when you're a child, like kind of raising yourself, like not putting certain rules on yourself and not having anybody there enforcing them, you kind of grow up with a lack of discipline, and it ends up hurting you. Like now that I'm an adult, I'm like, oh my God, I'm realizing how much my lack of discipline like affects me, and how like there's so many things in my life like that I'm not accomplishing because of my lack of discipline. And so I feel like doing these little challenges have been like making me like understand like discipline isn't to hurt you. I used to think like rules and authority, like I can't stand like people enforcing authority on me. I've had issues with authority figures my whole life. And so I always felt like authority and rules is there just to control you. Like these people just want to control you. And now I'm realizing like, oh my God, rules and discipline are literally there to help you, to make you stronger, to make you feel good. And now that I'm in control of like my own rules and kind of my own discipline, I'm like realizing now like, holy shit, like discipline doesn't have to be like a bad thing. It can be like rewarding. And I've never looked at it this way. It was kind of like an epiphany I had, like, oh my God, like I've been looking at life wrong this whole time. And like imagine if I had discipline in like high school, like the things I could accomplish, like, you know what I mean? And so the 3-day fast really changed my mind on the way I view like being disciplined. And it also gives you this like strength and security, because I was reading this book about discipline actually, and it was saying how like I think Gandhi, he like didn't have anything, like he made his life as uncomfortable as possible. Like he would like sleep on the floor or something, or like not eat. And so by the time they threw him in jail and they took everything away, oh, if you don't listen to us, we're going to take away your food. We're going to take away your bed. He was like, go ahead, bitch. I already don't fucking need it. Like, you know what I mean? And so when you start taking everything away, you like, nobody can like hurt you. Like it builds a strength in yourself that like, if when life throws things at you, or when someone tries to say, oh, I'm gonna like take this from you, or I'm gonna do that, okay, go ahead. I've already lived without this. I've lived without that. I don't need anything but myself. Bro, blown away. Absolutely, I've been blown away by this new knowledge I've gained. It's changed my life, because I think I mentioned in the last video that like I'm celibate. I wanted to cut out drinking. I quit vaping. I quit smoking weed a while ago. Like I literally like have cut everything out of my life. And it did cause me to have an ego death because it made me feel like, okay, well, who am I if I'm not dependent on these things? But after I got over the ego death, now I'm like at this place of peace and strength where I'm like, oh, now I can see why taking those things away doesn't mean that you don't have a sense of self. It literally builds who you are, because when you're not dependent on anything, you can actually like find out who you are at your core without all those things. Absolutely mind-blowing, okay, you guys? And then after I did the 3-day fast, I was like, okay, I took food away, but my real problem is the phone, because like I talked about this in the last video, but like even if I take everything away, like what it really comes down to is my sole focus is always like on my phone like this. And I was like, you know what? I need to do it. I need to do a 3-day phone fast. I thought that was gonna be the death of me. I was like, you know what? Food, whatever. My phone, I haven't lived without it since I was like 12 years old. Maybe like for one day when I got it taken away by my parents, but like I've never had it. I've never gone 3 days without it, and it really scared me. And I think it was the idea of being alone with my thoughts and like having to like fill my time with other things to do scared me. And it's like life shouldn't feel like you're just filling your time. Like you should be enjoying the moments and wanting to experience them, not just filling it because it's like so unbearable that you just have to fill the time. Like life is not meant to be lived like that. And so anyways, I planned my phone fast to be on a weekend where I had my sister's boyfriend's birthday, so we were going to be out doing things, and then day 2 would be the day of the full moon in March. So I was like, okay, that's going to be my day of kind of like reflection and stuff like that. And then day 3 was my brother's birthday. My brother passed away and we were celebrating his birthday. And so I was like, okay, great. I'm going to be busy. I'm going to be doing things. It's going to be great. And it actually went really well. I filled a lot of my time with reading, which like, it wasn't like I was filling my time. I genuinely wanted to read because I don't know, like I got new books and I was excited to read them. But I did kind of feel like I was at some points like reading because I didn't have my phone. I kind of wish I took more time to actually just sit and like, I don't know, just sit with my thoughts, or like, I don't know, do something else. I think I painted, I read a lot, I spent time with friends and family. And honestly, you guys, I am really grateful that I did that, because I feel like ever since then I've been more present, and that's kind of what I was aiming for with the fast. I was like, I'm not present anymore. I'm always looking to go on my phone. I can't really enjoy the present moment. I always feel like I'm thinking of the future, thinking of the past. I'm running from this moment. And after that 3-day period, I had to spend a lot of time like just being present, like not checking my phone and just being present with the people I was around. And honestly, like I still go on my phone quite a bit, but I do remind myself like, hey, like just sit, just be present, just like look at the trees. And honestly, you guys, I've never felt this way. I don't think I've been present like this honestly my whole life, because I remember even as a kid, I had a lot of anxiety as a kid, and I still do now. But as a kid, I was kind of always like over analyzing everything. There was a lot of kind of like emotional problems I was having as a kid due to like family situations or whatever. So I was always over analyzing things. I was always in my head. I was always thinking of the future, thinking of the past. I was dealing with a lot of stuff, right? And so I've kind of carried that my whole life. Like just when you have like a lot of mental health issues, or like you're somebody that's just very like in your head, you're constantly like over analyzing social interactions. When you're talking to someone, you're not actually connecting. You're thinking of how do I come across to this person? What do they think I look like right now? Like I feel like if you have like anxiety, or I know like people with autism struggle with this as well, maybe ADHD. I don't know what I have. Like I don't know. All I know is I'm somebody that has a very overactive mind. Classify it how you want, I don't know. But I've realized that I've been operating like that my entire life. Like even during like concerts when you're supposed to be like so in the moment, like you're seeing your favorite person, you're singing, you're happy. Even when I would be standing there singing happy, I would be thinking about the fact that I'm like at this concert and it's gonna end eventually. I'm gonna have to go home. Like I'm always like thinking of like myself from like a different point of view, or like from the future or past. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. And so I knew I was like disassociating all the time, and I knew it was a problem, but I didn't realize how much life I was missing out on because of it, and how like sad that kind of is to like constantly live like that. Because now, you guys, I can confidently say that I am present and like content with like the present moment. I'm not saying like everything in my life is where I want it to be, but I'm saying that I can sit and just like look at the tree and just smile to myself and just be like, wow, like how beautiful is that bird? And like I already kind of was like that because I'm very like spiritual and I love nature. Like nature truly recharges me, but it's more of like the little moments now, I'm like genuinely taking them in. I also watched the movie Soul while I did my phone fast, and I've watched it before, but I watched it with my sister because she's never seen it. And basically, the message of that movie is like the point of life isn't to become anything, it's not to accomplish anything. There's no big secret, there's no big, like, challenge that you need to overcome. You just simply need to experience it. And in that movie, that's kind of what they realize is like that's the point of life. It's like the spark. Your spark is the way you see life, the way you enjoy it. And after that, I was like, I just want to enjoy the little moments, and I've been doing that. And guys, I just feel like content and happy. And I still struggle with anxiety. Like I've still been struggling with anxiety just because there's a lot of changes happening in my life. But I'm saying like for the most part, I feel like mentally and emotionally balanced and content. And I mean, I kind of wish I started this channel years ago when I was more mentally ill, just so you guys could see like the growth I've had. But I've struggled with like depression and BPD my whole life. I've struggled with like anger issues and just like lashing out and having mental breakdowns, and just like my emotions constantly being up and down. I've never felt like this before, and I'm just like so proud of myself. And I wanted to talk about this more in depth for anybody else that is also trying to work on themselves, because I feel like I've gained so much knowledge in these past few months that I'm at the point where like I can kind of teach what I've learned. But this episode is more of just like a catch up, so I'm not going to go into everything right now. I also want to update you guys like on some exciting news. So I've been applying for jobs, and I thought like my only option was to be a server. I left this job in December that um I've been at for a long time, and it was just like time to leave. It was a very toxic environment, and yeah, and so I thought like, oh, my only option is being a server. And so I'm applying to all these serving jobs. And honestly, like I was like, I don't even want to be a server. Like it scares me. I don't want to do it. Like I don't know. And I felt like that was my only option. It's because like that's what people tell you. Like when you're in school or when you're just trying to make money and work in life, you can either be a server or you can go into like retail or whatever, or like a cashier job. Like when you don't go immediately from college to your like field, like that's kind of like what you do, right? When you're like done school or when you're whatever. I didn't go to school, but like, you know what I mean? That's kind of what people tell you, like, oh, you can do serving or you can do like a cashier job or something. And so that's what I thought my only options were. And then I was at the gym one night. And guys, you know I'm on a health thing right now. Like this year for me is about discipline, getting my health in order, and just kind of elevating my life because I want to be at the highest potential that I can be. So I'm working out, and I see this posting at the front desk, and it says hiring a manager. And I literally had this like thought in my head, like, I don't know if you guys have seen these TikToks where these manifestation people that talk about it, they're like, oh, I've gotten everything in my life by just being delusional, by just thinking I can do it. Like I saw this one girl post how she like applied to like Harvard or something. She applied for all these like scholarships, and she's gotten everything she's ever applied to just out of pure delusion. She's like, I wasn't qualified for it, but I still got it. And so when I saw that posting, I was like, oh my God, wouldn't it be funny like if I applied for this and got it, and then I could make one of those TikToks like, oh my God, I'm a manager now, like life isn't real. I just jumped into this reality just by manifesting it. Like, that was kind of my thought process, was literally just doing it just so I could like make a TikTok about it, just to like prove that manifestation is real. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna like search this up online and like see what the job posting is. And so I go online. It turns out like I was actually more qualified than I thought. Like, you didn't need college, you just need a high school diploma. You just needed leading experience. Like, I've never been a manager, but I have experience leading people at my previous job. They were like sales experience and cleaning experience. I'm like, oh my God, like I've cleaned people's houses. I've worked in retail. I was like, maybe I could like just make a really good resume and like see what happens. So I spent 3 hours making this resume, send it in, totally forget about it. Then I end up getting a call back like a month later to go for a job interview. And I was like, oh my God, what? So I did a 10-minute phone call interview and it went really well. Like, guys, I think it was the affirmations that I did before, but I literally felt like I was just having a conversation. And if you're somebody that struggles with anxiety and social anxiety, interviews are the death of you. And for me, like, interviews are so scary. It feels like you're trying to prove yourself. It just feels so embarrassing. Like, it feels like so scary. Like, I always feel like I'm going to say the wrong thing. But in this interview, I literally gave myself the biggest pep talk before. And I was like, you know what? Your worth doesn't change whether or not you get this job or whether or not this interview goes well. And I basically just told myself, like, just answer the questions honestly, be confident, and you'll do fine. This interview went amazing. I literally like vibed with this girl. And I thought like, oh, we'll see what happens. Then she calls me back and she says, oh, now I want you to do a 1-hour interview in person. And then I'm thinking like, oh my God, an hour? Like, what could they possibly ask me in an hour? And like, what if I don't have like the answers? I go to this interview. Guys, it did not feel like an interview. It felt like me and this girl were just vibing, getting along, having a conversation. And the night before I did this interview, I actually practiced scripting. If you guys have heard of scripting, I've like heard of it before. It's basically a manifestation technique where you basically write like a journal entry as if it already happened. And so the night before I did this hour-long interview, I wrote in my scripting journal, like I bought a journal just for scripting, and I wrote, my interview went amazing. It was just like a conversation. It flowed so well. We got along. And that's exactly what happened, except it went even better than that. Like, she ended up, like, the interviewer ended up being into spirituality, and we were talking about zodiac signs. I was like, this couldn't be more perfect. It literally felt like God was like leading me to like the perfect like scenario and situation that was like perfectly aligned with me. I had just like cut all these things out of my life, trying to go down this health journey, and then I'm led to like this job, and like the interviews are going amazing. And then like time goes by and she's like, okay, we're gonna do one more interview with my boss, and it's only gonna be a 10-minute phone interview, and then after that, like I get to make the final decision. So I did a third interview, 3 interviews. I've never done this before, guys. At this point, I'm the queen of interviews. I could do any interview. I'm not scared anymore because I have like literally mastered how to channel the confidence for it. And I'm going to go into another video about that later because it's changed my life. On top of everything else, it's changed my life. But then I did the third interview, and then on Monday, 2 days ago, I got called that I got the manager job. Like, guys, I'm a manager at a gym. Is that not insane? Like, oh my God. And like, for some people, they might not think like it's that big of a deal or something that's like that hard to get, but like I just never thought like I would be qualified for that. I never thought I could see myself like being accepted as that. But guys, life and opportunities, like, you can literally do anything, but you have to believe you can. If you don't believe that you're capable of doing something, like, you won't even like try, or you'll let your head get in the way. You'll let your insecurities, you'll let what other people think of you like stop you or get in the way. And like, I've gone to the point where like I don't care what people think about me. I simply am myself, and that's all I have to be. And that's like the code that I kind of cracked right now in my life, is that like literally the secret to getting everything you want is simply just being yourself, because who you are is unique, and you're exactly who you're supposed to be. Like, you're exactly where you're supposed to be, and you're exactly who you're supposed to be successful. If that doesn't make sense, I'm going to go into another video about it in the future, because yeah, like, guys, I feel like I feel like a brand new person. And you know how like they say with the eclipses, you can enter into a new reality? Like I honestly feel like I have, because everything is changing and I feel lighter and I feel happier and I feel recharged and I feel excited for life. I still feel anxious just because there's a lot of things changing, there's a lot going on, and I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm taking everything one step at a time, one day at a time, and I'm connecting with myself and checking in with myself. And so far, like, I think I'm doing pretty good. Life can be really scary and unpredictable, but I feel like if you are always connecting with yourself and like, I don't know, like making sure that you're telling yourself like affirmations, I feel like you could be unstoppable. And that's how I'm feeling lately. I'm starting to see what all these manifestation people are talking about, and I'm really starting to reap the benefits of all of the self-work I've been putting in, and I'm telling you guys it's worth it. All those people that say like, oh, you got to be disciplined, you got to take care of yourself, it's worth it. They're not lying. It's not like, oh, I can't drink and I can't do this. It's literally like, I want to be the best version of myself, and now I am living out the best version of myself as we speak, and I'm only going to get better because I'm continuing to work on myself. And I'm just like really excited to share everything I've learned with you guys as well. I'm definitely going to do that in either a separate YouTube video or another episode of The Blunt Side. I don't know what kind of style I want to do yet. But yeah, if you guys have made it to the end of this video, let me know what your favorite zodiac placement is. Mine is Sagittarius rising. I love Sagittarius rising people. They're hilarious. They bring people together. They have this coolness about them where like everybody wants to be their friend because they're just so cool. My brother was a Sagittarius rising. That might be why I love them. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed today's episode of The Blunt Side, let me know down below. Let me know like what your guys' thoughts are on kind of like fasts and stuff like that, if you've ever done one, or just like, yeah, like your thoughts, because I am amazed at how they've changed my life. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching today's episode of The Blunt Side. If you like my vibe, make sure you subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Also, like, comment, share, subscribe, all of that. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!